Diablo 4 patch 1.03 released today. We've had some really big quality of life changes and some huge leveling buffs. So here's everything you need to know. First up, Nightmare Dungeons have had some huge buffs. One of them, you can go into your consumables, you can use a Nightmare Sigil now, and if you click it and press accept, you can do what you did before where it takes you to the dungeon, but now you can instantly teleport there. That is the best thing we've had so far. It is a huge quality of life change, which will drastically affect leveling. No longer do we have to stack up like 4 of the same dungeons so we can like repeat queue into there. You can just teleport straight outside the dungeon. On top of this, the dungeons have had a huge buff, a huge experience buff. So I've jumped into an Ancestral Nightmare Dungeon, a rank 25, and I've got 5.3 million experience. And the Nightmare Dungeon experience is buffed in 2 ways. The mobs themselves drop more experience, and then completing the Nightmare Dungeon itself gives an extra increased experience. So here we are at the end, just finished it, and you can see this took just under 6 minutes, took about 5.5 minutes. And you can see here we're on 6.4 million altogether. So that's 1.1 million experience in under 6 minutes. And there's just no fluff there. There's no ride into the dungeon, get in there, attacking the stuff outside, logging in, logging out. It's just you click the item, you go there, you walk in, 6 minutes later, you've got 1.1 million experience and you've got your glyph upgraded. You've got your glyph experience as well. Is it still worth just going and doing normals? Well, some of the dungeons that I've done, Mariner's Refuge gives about 600k per run. Domain Tunnels gives about 530k per run. Demon's Wake is about 600k per run. So they can be done in a few minutes. But, you know, you're going in, you're going out, you're repeating them. It's kind of tedious. These give 1 point something million. Yours could give better. If you do a high level key than what I just did, that was a fairly simple one just for the video. If you do a much higher key, you're going to get more experience and you can get that experience very fast. If you can clear a high key, you can get there instantly, clear it in 5 minutes. Huge experience, unique zone legendaries for finishing the dungeon, huge glyph experience. And in the patch notes, they've also said that they plan to increase the mob density and elite density in endgame content. So we should see these Nightmare Dungeons get even better and be a much better source of endgame gearing and leveling. Another change is we saw changes to Helltides. So roaming bosses now give better loot. We've tested this on release just now and it's better. It is much better. Uniques, legendaries are now dropping from these roaming bosses. I beat one of these on, you know, as soon as I got into tier 3, first week of the Diablo release, and I got a yellow. That's not rewarding. That doesn't feel worth the time. So now these do seem a lot better. We also got huge experience now, experience increases for opening the chests in Helltides. Also increased experience from completing whispers, not from handing them in, but from completing the whisper rewards, which is another good source of experience. They right now don't really seem worth it. So yeah, it feels like overall the developers are pushing endgame content to be more endgame content. Similar to in Diablo 3, how you had bounties and stuff. It feels like we now are getting endgame as an endgame, because the biggest frustration right now is you get to 70 plus and you just repeat normal dungeons over and over and over again, and when you feel like you need some glyph experience, you do a nightmare, but you can't beat the experience you get in a normal dungeon. Right now it looks like we're finally getting a movement towards an actual endgame. So yeah, that's really, really good. The only other big change was the weekly cash that you get from beating the world bosses. It used to have a level restriction, so if you went into tier 4 at say level 60 and you beat a world boss, it might, well, I had a box and it said it has to be level 80 to be opened. So you can't get this gear, you can't open this box until a certain level. Now that threshold has been removed, so you can still open the box, but if the items are outside of your level, the items themselves will be locked. So I've been saving a chest that was level 80. I was level 76 on this character. I went into my cache today and it's there and it can be opened. So I've opened it up and it has some gear that can be used, which is a big win. And the final thing in the patch notes was buffs for everyone. Every single class has been buffed. I've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb and there's no nerfs. It is all buffs. So they've said that they want to make the early game better. So they've made lots of buffs to basic skills and lots of buffs to skills that you would have at the early level, and increased resource generation from those skills and reduced resource generation across the board as well. So lots of skills are now going to, lots of classes are going to feel much better being played in the early game. And then they've buffed a lot of things that aren't seeing much play. So we're not seeing nerfs to like Ice Shard Sorcerer, but we're seeing buffs to the fire side, some of the fire spells and some of the energy spells, which is really good because, you know, we're going to see now more things become viable. I'll link the full patch notes down below so you can see, you know, you can go down, look at your class and see what's been buffed, and you can like maybe think of some new builds. I won't sit and read them out because it's like this move has gone from 63% to 65%, and there's a lot of them. So yeah, have a look, see what it affects you. But yeah, that's it. Some big quality of life changes, some real huge changes to leveling. So Nightmare Dungeons, the huge buffs there are going to be amazing. People are still going to level in normal dungeons because it's so easy. And it's easy to trick the farm, log out, log in, that sort of thing. So people are still going to do it, but the Nightmare Dungeon change is huge. You want to level there for the glyphs. So having the huge experience boost there is a game changer. I think it's really important, especially getting into season 1, where people are going to be leveling all over again. So I think that's huge. Changes to all the builds are going to be really important. I'm going to be making some build guides for some of the new changes. I'm really excited for some of the things on Sorcerer, like the Crackling Energy change, the buff to Incinerate, so maybe we'll see some new fire builds. And then there's some really good looking werewolf ones that I want to try based on the druid changes. But yeah, that's it for this video. If this has helped you out, dropping a like on the video helps me out. Let me know in the comments what your favorite thing about the changes, or if there's anything else you're expecting that we haven't had. I also stream over on Twitch, so if you ever want to come hang out live, I'll link that down below. But that's it for the video. Take care, everyone.